The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. Hello everyone, my name is Crystal Myers-Barber, and today is February the 21st, 2020. And I just read a Proverb 15 verse 3 to you. I also want to read verse 6 in that very same chapter. And it says, "In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble." And we see a lot of trouble in that Democrat Party. I'm getting ready to show you some of the highlights that went on at that debate in Las Vegas. So let's take a look at that clip right now. And most of America was watching Donald Trump on February the 19th because he was at a rally in Arizona, in Phoenix, Arizona, the very same night that the Democratic Party had their debate.
And are also two of the fastest warming cities in the country. In certain months of the year, the heat is already an emergency situation for residents and for tourists walking up and down the strip. So I'm going to start with you, Mr. Vice President. What specific policies would you implement that would keep Las Vegas and Reno livable, but also not hurt those economies?
It is the existential threat that humanity faces, global warming. I went out to Kentucky, and you have a facility where you have one of the largest solar panel arrays in the world. And when the fourth stage is completed, it will be able to take care of 60,000 homes for every single bit of their...
I can't listen to Sleepy Joe. That climate control is just a complete hoax. So let's get through him and let's go over here, because we're going to go to Bloomberg and let's see what he has to say.
Invest in rail. Rail can take hundreds of thousands, millions of cars off the road if we have high-speed rail.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I want to get some of the rest of you in on this because y'all have plans. Yeah. Mayor Bloomberg, let me read what you said about this issue. You said you want to intensify U.S. and international actions to stop the expansion of coal. How exactly are you going to do that?
Well, already we've closed 304 out of the 530 coal-fired power plants in the United States.
That is terrible. That's nothing to brag about. That's putting people, that's families out of business. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. Let's hear that again.
4 out of the 530 coal-fired power plants in the United States, and we've closed 80 out of the 200 or 300 that are in Europe. Bloomberg Philanthropy is working with the Sierra Club. That's one of the things you do. But just let's start at the beginning. If you're president, the first thing you do the first day is you rejoin the Paris Agreement.
Oh my gosh.
This is just ridiculous.
Get us tied back up with the United Nations.
2, America's responsibility is to be the leader in the world. And if we don't, we're the ones that are going to get hurt just as much as anybody else. And that's why I don't want to have us cut off all relationships with China, because you will never solve this problem without China and India, Western Europe and America. That's where most of the greenhouse gas. Let me just finish one other thing. I believe, and you can tell me whether this is right, but the solar array that the Vice President was talking about is being closed because it's not economic, that you can put solar panels in and modern technology, even more modern than that.
All right. Maybe I want to let Senator Warren jump in here, just because you've said something that's really specific to Nevada. And the tension here in this state is between people who want renewable energy and people who want conservation on public lands. 85% of Nevada is managed by the federal government. You have said
so hard to watch.
You're going to have an executive order that would stop drilling on public land, stop mining, which is a huge industry here. You got to have lithium. You got to have copper for renewable energy. How do you do that?
So, look, I think we should stop all new drilling and mining on public lands and all offshore drilling. If we need to make exceptions because there are specific minerals that we've got to have access to, then we locate those and we do it not in a way that just is about the profits of giant industries, but in a way that is sustainable for the environment. We cannot continue to let our public lands be used for profits by those who don't care about our environment and are not.
What? We're the #1 producer of natural oil and gas now because of Donald Trump. And you see that she is clearly wants all that to stop. They are actually fracking right in Huntington Beach, right in in Huntington Beach, California. I can do video and show you. This is California. I mean, there's so many, we are rich in resources in California, but these people like Elizabeth Warren want to take every single resource away. And Mini Mike, he wants to close down coal mining and take all of our resources away. And that's what the Democrat Party is doing. They're crazy.
Making it better. Look,
right,
I'm going to say something that is really controversial in Washington, but I think I'm safe to say this here in Nevada. I believe in science, and I believe that the way that we're going to deal with this problem is that we are going to increase by tenfold our investment in science. There's an upcoming $27 trillion market worldwide for green, and much of what is needed has not yet been invented. My proposal is let's invent it here in the United States and then say, we invented in the U.S., you've got to build it in the U.S. That's a million.
I wish you could stick to that.
The industry obviously supports a lot of...
Is that the scientists are telling us that if we don't act incredibly boldly within the next 6-7 years, there will be irreparable damage done, not just to Nevada, not just to Vermont or Massachusetts, but to the entire world.
Number two, I think that any executive who is engaging, and by the way, people in fact do not have to be sued, they should be able to... They get the show a lot of time. I'll include the link if you want to watch this whole thing, I just can't. Let's just go, let's see if Mike talks anymore. I want to see that part where Mike, okay, let's see if Mini Mike gets, let's see what he has.
And here's the part we've all been waiting for. Finally, some entertainment.
I'd like to talk about who we're running against. A billionaire who calls women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians. And no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg. I'd like to talk about who we're running against. A billionaire who calls women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians. And no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg. Democrats are not going to win if we have a nominee who has a history of hiding his tax returns, of harassing women, and of supporting racist policies like redlining and stop and frisk. Look, I'll support whoever the Democratic nominee is, but understand this. Democrats take a huge risk if we just substitute one arrogant billionaire for another. This country has worked for the rich for a long time and left everyone else in the dirt. It is time to have a president who will be on the side of working families and be willing to get out there and fight for them. That is why I am in this race, and that is how I will beat Donald Trump. I hope you've heard what his defense was. I've been nice to some women. That just doesn't cut it. The mayor has to stand on his record, and what we need to know is exactly what's lurking out there. He has gotten some number of women, dozens, who knows, to sign non-disclosure agreements, both for sexual harassment and for gender discrimination in the workplace. So, Mr. Mayor, are you willing to release all of those women from those non-disclosure agreements so we can hear their side of the story?
Oh my God.
We have a very few non-disclosure agreements.
How many is
Let me
there?
finish.
How many is there?
None of them accuse me of doing anything other than maybe they didn't like the joke I told. And let me put, there's agreements between two parties that wanted to keep it quiet, and that's up to them. They signed those agreements, and we'll live with it.
So wait, when you say it is up to, I just want to be clear. Some is how many? And when you say they signed them and they wanted them, if they wish now to speak out and tell their side of the story about what it is they allege, that's now okay with you? You're releasing them on television tonight?
Senator? No.
Is that right?
Senator?
tonight?
Senator, the company and somebody else, in this case, a man or a woman, or could be more than that, they decided when they made an agreement that they wanted to keep it quiet for everybody's interest. They signed the agreements, and that's what we're going to live with.
I'm sorry. No, the question is, are the women bound by being muzzled by you? And you could release them from that immediately, because understand, this is not just a question of the mayor's character. This is also a question about electability. We are not going to beat Donald Trump with a man who has who knows how many non-disclosure agreements and the drip, drip, drip of stories of women saying they have been harassed and discriminated against.
Like a deer in the headlights. Like I said last week, Mini Mike, you can't buy personality or wit. That's exactly what I said in my video last night about wit, and the whole world just saw it. And I want to thank you for watching my video, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. God bless you, God bless America, and let's continue to keep the president in our prayers. See you next time.